Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, over here at the Hideout Woods today. Gonna spend a couple of days. And man, did I bring a lot of stuff with me. Yeah, that's okay. I wanted to be comfortable. It's not going to be really nasty. Like right now, it's 65 degrees over here. There's very little wind blowing at all. I think that's going to remain kind of the same for the next couple of days. Supposed to get down to 30 tonight and 32 tomorrow night, which will be okay. I've done a little revamping on some of my sleeping gear. I'll show you guys here in a little bit. And I've added a couple of new pieces of gear this time. You can see the table. And finally bought me a folding saw. Linchet. Online, 17 bucks, $16.99. It's got an 11-inch. You might as well call it 10 inches worth of cutting. We're going to see. I just didn't want to keep wearing out my little shovel saw because it still does a really good job. Well, I've got a couple of things I want to get done this afternoon. I've got to build me a new tripod to hold my backpack, clean up a few things here around the camp, gather up some sticks, get a little firewood stacked up, and that's really about it. I'm just going to hang out for a couple of days. Hang out with me if you want to. Kind of nice. Kind of nice. Supposed to be sunshine and in the 50s. Low 50s for tomorrow. Which that's fine too. No issues there. Alright. Let me show you guys around camp real quick. Tell me what you think. I know, it's a lot of stuff. Yeah, the plan was to come out, hang out, and be comfortable. And we're going to start out with a 12 by 16. And we got a 8 by 10 on the ground. Oh yeah. And just a little bit of fire going in the wood stove just to check it out. It's been almost 2 years, I think, since I burnt that thing. Did the greenhouse on this end again. I've done a little nicer job putting it up this time. And up on top there, I've got another tarp folded to come down over this gaping hole to help hold a little bit of heat in. I'm not really worried about it. Like I said, I made some adjustments to my winter sleeping gear. And I think I'm going to be warm if I were sleeping with only one tarp. For you guys that haven't seen my little wood stove or a wood stove kind of like this, eBay, Amazon, I think they're about 60 bucks, I think I saw. I think I gave 65 for this one. But it's coming up on 3 years old. It's been used a few times, not overused by any means. I just started, I guess I chose to go camping without the wood stove. It is a lot. It and all the sections of pipe, everything that contains, that is the stove, fits inside. Really nice, handy. These things fold up and make a carrying handle. I have a bag that this one fits in. Altogether it's right at 30 pounds. You see the white legs, it comes with longer black legs, and I decided I wanted it a little closer to the ground in a setup like this. It keeps it away from keeps the main part of the heat away from the tarp a little bit more. You're going to be warm in here. You pull that section down right there, and even with this gaping hole right here, you're going to be warm in here. Check out the video, 18 degree gear check at 210. It did get down to 18 degrees. It was about 20 degrees in the tarp itself. I did let the fire go down to just almost nothing, just enough I had enough ash or enough excuse me, coals in there to get fire going the next morning. It does work good. It's like any other little wood stove. I don't have You know, the stove is only about 170 degrees back there on the back. It's not really throwing off very much heat. I really just wanted to kind of burn things off before I decided to sit in here for the night, you know, when it starts getting cool. So I got it loaded up with some cedar. Not loaded up, but got some cedar in there. And it's like every other wood stove. If you just fan the door open before the stove is really hot, it's going to smoke. It's going to throw out a little smoke. But you kind of see there, in a situation like this, I'm not really worried about the smoke. It's going to go out of here. But she's freight training. I'm going to shut that down a little bit because I do not want it to get that hot. I just wanted a nice little set of coals in there. Probably have a fire out in the pit tonight later on too. Maybe. We'll see. Can you hear it ticking? Just that little bit of door opening right there bumped it 10 degrees. So if you want a hot little stove, now that's another, when I get it up ready to try to cook on it or something, I want it about 350 degrees on the thermometer back there. Right now you could boil water up there easy enough right now. But like I said, just wanted a small fire just to kind of burn the rust and dust off of it, and I guess make sure it was going to function right. Seems to be. Time for the afternoon fight. Yeah, it's coming on dark pretty quick, so I'm going to say 4:30. Maybe 4:45. Got cool pretty quick this afternoon, folks. Sun gets away from the trees here gets down into the trees here pretty early. And the hideout camp doesn't get a whole lot of sun late in the afternoon. Stove's going nicely though. 46 degrees out there. 64 in here. Not a bad ratio. I'll more than likely have to cut some more firewood tomorrow. You saw earlier that I got it some store-bought stuff that Smoke had. Him and Bearbait come by for a little bit. They both got to work tomorrow, so they left kind of early. Yeah, I'll get a little bit more cut, enough to pass me through tomorrow night. Plans are to stay till Thursday morning. Get a couple of nights and take a nice little walk tomorrow, I hope. Low 50s. That'll be nice. I didn't have me no afternoon snack today, so I'm getting a little bit hungry. I believe tonight gonna break out a Mountain House and have some chicken and dumplings tonight. Sounds pretty good on a cool night. I'll have something else to eat a little bit later on. Give me some calories for making heat through the night, huh? Well, as you can see, it's gotten dark. It's probably 5:30 or so. I decided not to eat so early. I went ahead and had me a little, one of those emergency bars. I really like those things. The apple cinnamon's pretty good. I forget how many calories there are, per chunk. But it's pretty tasty, and it sets well on my belly. I don't know what the temperature is outside. I'm sure it's falling quite well. Got half moon tonight. I wish this camera had a little bit better night vision stuff. I'm recording on the Samsung this time. Pretty warm. I don't know. 60. And the stove is just a little over 300. Yeah, got my shoes off, got my feet warming by the wood stove. Feels good. I bet you folks have done that before. Yeah, probably not out in the woods like this, but at home. I know I have. Pretty relaxing day. The alterations I were talking about earlier on my winter gear, I've done a little over stuff. You know, the Merrimont 40 degree Aspen ultralight that Redneck gave me. Thank you again. Been using it regular. It always felt kind of flat. So I don't know if I've done a really good thing or just maybe wasted time. I don't know. I feel like I've done good. I got a quarter pound of 80-20 70 fill down, and I overstuffed it. I hit every one of the pockets, and I just about doubled the amount of down that was in there. You guys probably can't hear it. Owl buddy's sitting back over there. Sounds like two of them. But the 80-20, I went ahead and, like I said, done a quarter pound in that. And I'll show you guys tomorrow when we got a little light. I sewed some baffles. Yeah, I sewed some baffles in the sleeping bag that I've been using for an underquilt. I'll do a little more explaining on it. And I put 3/4 of a pound in it. In the baffles, I think I've got six baffles going across. And I didn't put anything in the top there. Again, I'll show you tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to crawling in that tonight. That's a lot more loft, and that's also the 80-20 700 fill. I don't think I'm going to get cold. There again, if I do, probably after I get through eating, I'm going to go ahead and let the fire start dying down and just let it go on out for the night. Not going to worry about being that cold in here. If I do get cold, I'll get up and start a fire, or I brought another little throw. I got the a 700 fill down throw. I think a lot of you guys have probably got them and have seen them out there. Everybody picking them up at Costco. Don't have a Costco card. I don't know where there's even a Costco. So I got this one. I'm gonna give $28 for it. A little more than everybody else was giving, but I think it's going to be worth it if I need it. Don't think I'm going to need it. I'm just going to relax by the wood stove for a little while. Well, that's pretty good dinner, boys and girls. The chicken and dumplings from Mountain House, pretty tasty. Give a good thumbs up on that. Sitting in here, it's pretty toasty. You see I put on a sweatshirt just to kind of be warm. 52 degrees. And that's 5.5, 6 feet away from the stove. It's plenty warm in here. I got it cranked up. I put the last little bit of wood in it that I'm going to put in tonight, and I got it cranked up. Go ahead and get everything in here nice and toasty before I lay down. Yeah, sometimes we have to deal with a little bit of noise, don't we? Yeah, it's okay. Tonight it's okay. I'm taking it, I don't know. Moon's way back over this way now, so it's probably 8:30. Just been kind of hanging out, listening to the night. The owls were here just a little bit ago. They didn't stay long. Always nice to have them come around, though. Fixed me up a little apple cider tonight for a little after dinner toddy. No campfire tonight. Don't really find the need for that. And so I got a wood stove here to sit up next to, huh? Pretty good stuff. Set it back up on the stove there to warm up. Yeah, I got several different lights in here to kind of light it up tonight, so I'm not talking to yous in the dark. I'm gonna do the experiment tonight for sure with the new overstuff and the underquilt and the basically my top quilt. I'm going to start off in the clothes I've got on. I didn't do any hard labor today. I didn't get sweaty, and I'm completely dry and warm. I've got long johns on the standby, and I have hot hands that if I need them, I can get them. But I kind of want to see how far this will push down, you know. I'd like to know, I don't know, 30, 32 would be nice. The top quilt and the underquilt, as it is, are right at 5 pounds together. So that's not really that bad for winter gear. If you're, you know, counting grams, which I'm not really, but I would like to pack as light as I can. Obviously this weekend, that has nothing to do with this weekend at all. I've got more in a couple of tarps than some people go away for 3 or 4 days. But like I said, I wanted to be comfortable, but I wanted to be in a position to where I could check out this gear, you know, to see what kind of temperature I can deal with. Everything in here is pretty warm already. Every once in a while I reach over here and give the, well, you guys can't see it, give the hammock a swing, and it kind of gets the air flowing around in here just a little bit. And right now there's no cool air coming from anywhere. There's just a little breeze up and down every once in a while. I don't think that's going to be an issue for me tonight. I'll show you guys the new suspension that I put on the underquilt also tomorrow. Time for a test run almost. You guys that watch me regular, you already know that I have a cold hip problem, and I've had cold shoulder problems a time or two. So with this new stuff set up, I put just a little bit extra right where my hips are, pretty much, and right up, I brought it up on the outside, up around my shoulders, because I sleep on the diagonal, my feet away from me. I guess that would be head to the left. So I got more down on this side and more down on the far side of the back for my feet, plus the overstuff in the top quilt. I'm hoping 30 degrees will be a warm level. Be nice to know anyway. Well, if you guys are where you're at, you are definitely where you're at. I don't know why I said that. If you're at a spot where you can step out on the porch, is what I usually say, and have a little snort with me tonight. But Tonight, that's really not the case because I'm kind of sitting warm. So if you get a chance, if you can, get some of your favorite beverage and have a little snort with me. I'm going to go with an hot water tonight. Might even have to tidy up that apple cider a little bit too. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Appreciate your views. Woo. Now, I've been over this once before. No, I'm not going to blow any in that wood stove. The ensuing fire would not be pretty in here, because it's not all going to go out the pipe. Oh yeah, just about right. Oh yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. You're seeing what I'm going to do here for just a little while, and then I'm going to crawl in that sleeping bag and lay there for just a little while and look out through the woods. I got just enough moon that I can kind of see out there. Hoping for a good night. Unless anything exciting happens during the night, you know, I'll have the camera standing next to me. Don't necessarily mean I can get it and turn it on, though. Sometimes things happen too quick, don't they? I'll talk to you guys in the morning. Hey, good morning, everybody. See the sun coming up over there? Yeah, 7:30. I don't know. Kind of slept in. I've been up for a few. It made it to 32 last night. Those extra couple of degrees, I don't think would have made much difference. The underquilt and the sleeping bag improvements with the extra down in them, definitely positive here. I don't know how to equate any of that with R value, I guess. I don't know. Loft, however you would say it. I'm going to rearrange the down here in the underquilt just a little bit and get some more of it up around my shoulders. And I got to add another pocket. You can may be able to see it. I'm going to add a pocket right here, where my head and my neck is. I thought the extra from the hood of this sleeping bag, I tucked it all in. I thought maybe that would be enough, but I think I could use a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to get motivated and get up here and cook me some breakfast in a few minutes. Boys and girls, this morning I turned 61. I sure feel like I've been here a long time. I don't feel that old, but I have definitely been here a long time. Oh yeah, made me some wrist warmers. I don't know that hurt a damn thing last night. It might have helped. Anything against the cold, right? But I didn't get cold. That's the ticket. I do not have on long johns. Just regular old t-shirt. Nothing on the bottoms. So that in itself is a big improvement over what I had, especially with a 40-degree sleeping bag. You know, I had slept in this probably 37, 38 degrees, a little below 40, and was still okay, but I had on long johns. This time I didn't need them. Made it to 32. I've got feathers everywhere this morning. Well, let me get out of this bag, get over there and bring that little wood stove back to life this morning and cook me some breakfast. I believe it's a bacon and egg day. Maybe some hash browns. We'll see. Stick around. Well, that took a few minutes. I got about 310 on it. It'll be ready to cook on in just a few minutes. Got my hash browns rehydrating. Thought I'd have me a fresh pipe this morning. Whew. Sun porch back here, I can feel the heat coming in behind me. I'm gathering it's still probably in the 30s. Maybe touching 40. Still kind of cool. We got, like I said, I don't know what it is in here. It's almost 50 degrees in here now. Promising to be a nice day. Once again, in the lower 50s here in the middle of December ain't bad, is it? And sunny. We've been missing the sun. Yeah, looks like I got about 320. So I'm gonna get off here and cook me some breakfast. Put in just a little bit more so that I'll have plenty of heat to cook with. And it's pushing 350 right now. Oh, let's cook up a little bacon. Nothing special, just store-bought. I'm gonna have to cut this in half. I won't be able to get it in my pan. It's all right. I'll have bacon later. We got smoke in there. Oh, she's freight training. You guys familiar with that? That extra little bit of wood's just now catching up in there. Oh yeah, good stuff, people, good stuff. I prefer a thick slice, but this is fine. Tasty all the same, ain't it? Let's just go ahead and get it in there. And I believe I'm gonna have to set my skillet on top of the stove. Take my little rack out. Get a little better heat this morning. I know it's still sizzling. That's a good thing. Put my bacon in the cup here. Keep it nice and warm while I brown up my taters. I think I'm going to go ahead and cook up the rest of the bacon I got too. Just so I got some snacks around today. Maybe take the extra bacon with me on the walk. Yeah. I'm about to starve to death sitting here cooking. It ain't cooking fast enough for me. I got up this morning to make a head call, and there were 6 deer bedded down right over there. They didn't like me coming out this morning. They were okay, I guess, with the setup, but they didn't like me out walking around. You guys know these Hash browns out of a box, they don't brown very well. But they're plenty done. Let's put them in with the bacon. Still looks like got plenty of grease there to cook my eggs with. Oh yeah. Well, you guys can't see it, but she's percolating about 430 right now, which is a good cooking temp. Couple of fresh raptor berries. Oh yeah. Wow, they got tough shells, huh? Nifty little containers. Alright, let me break you open and get to cooking here. What do you think, folks? A couple of raptor berries, some spuds, a little bit of pork. Alright, time for breakfast, huh? About time. I can't think of a better birthday breakfast than this, or a better place to have it. Thought I'd move out onto the sun porch for a morning pipe. Feels pretty good. It's probably close to 60 degrees right here. It's not going to be far off of that outside here before long. Nice little breeze blowing. Might be able to see the tarp moving a little bit. Well, that breakfast set good. Now I'm going to have to get up and do something. It's one of those breakfasts you eat and you got to go move around. I think I'll cut a little bit of firewood this morning while it's nice and cool, and straighten up my mess, do a little housekeeping. Probably air bedding again today. It's always nice to be able to do that. I'm really pleased with the way the over stuff come out. Got to make a couple of adjustments on my ends. But as far as comfort, big improvement. Big improvement on temperature wise all night long. I had a little bit of cold hip last night, but rolling over. May have had something to do with it. I'll keep moving to a cold spot. I don't know. I rolled around quite a bit last night. I'll make a couple of improvements when I get back to the house on the suspension. I'll show you guys that here in just a little bit. Nothing fancy, just a little bit extra for me. You'll see. But the Merrimont bag, that is definitely not a 40-degree bag anymore. No, sir. 32 last night, and I was comfortable with no long johns on. Tonight I'm going to step up a little bit. It's supposed to be just about the same tonight. Probably be a little bit warmer, maybe, but I'm going to slip on the long john bottoms. Now, I had no problems from the waist up last night. I'm going to put them long johns on tonight, and I don't know. I've got hand warmers standing by, but I didn't need it. That foot box extra stuff on the foot box, man, that worked out real good. I think I'm just going to sit here and look out through the woods for a little bit and then go cut a little more firewood. I'm going to chop up some of this cedar that's laying around here today. like to really know what's wrong with the cedars in here. I think maybe they're just starving for water because all the other young growth coming in. But they're not doing good. I thought while the sun was coming through nice and shiny in here today, I'd show you just a little bit about the underquilt and my top quilt. Pretty easy. Well, forgive my boo-boos. It's been a long time since I used a sewing machine, and to make a stitch that long without screwing up, yeah, it wasn't likely to happen, was it? But that's not too bad. The sleeping bag itself had no stitching in it whatsoever. You know, on today's bags, more than likely you're going to see an S stitch going up through the bag to keep the insulation in place, which is, you know, really good idea. These bags here, when they made them, they seen fit not to do that. So the only place the insulation was actually stitched to the bag itself was the very center seam right there. And I had to make 2 pockets in there because I didn't want to interrupt that stitch, you know, going through the 2 layers of the bag. I didn't want to bother that. So I've actually got 2 little 3-inch baffles right there. These were sewn 6 inches apart, give or take. And then I just sliced them. Well, I sliced them up the other end and stuffed them and stitched it back together. Same thing with the sleeping bag. While I'm right here on this, you can kind of see here what I done. I just took some strapping, looped it over, and run shock cord through it. Same thing all along the back. You can't see it because the hammock's over it. There's 6 of them on each side. It supports it well. I really don't even have this one tied off over there. It's just kind of hanging there. The one in the back, I used it last night adjusting things up, and I'm telling you, it hung well. It hung better than it has ever in the past. By suspending it just by the corners, I was getting a lot of compression right here in the bottom of the bag. The bag wanted to hang more straight. This way it kind of makes the banana shape. Works really good. The hammock is just laying in there. To me, it's where it ought to be. It felt good last night. I didn't have any issues at all. I think this is going to work out well. It makes it a simpler hookup also. I've just got stretch right to my carabiners on the end for the hammock, and it's done. And was good to 32 degrees last night. I'm going to shift the down around a little bit today. And like I said earlier this morning, I'm going to sew in another pocket up here where my shoulders, up. Okay, now onto the sleeping bag. Done the same thing with it. Nothing fancy, you know. That's what it's supposed to be. And I really didn't do anything much, but look at the feathers. It's always a plus, isn't it? Breathe feathers. I've done the same thing. I just cut the bag, and I ran all of the down over to one side of the pocket and kind of got a feel of the loft on that, and then I added that much on this half of the bag all the way down, and then a couple of extra handfuls in the foot bag, foot box, excuse me. 32 degrees, and that's all I had laying on top of me last night. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I'm really pleased with that. I actually added a 1/4 pound of 80/20 700 fill to the sleeping bag, and then I had just a little left over from this, and I put a couple of extra handfuls in the foot box. Worked out really nice. The only other addition that I have to this whole situation, I slid it in here so I could dig it out and show you in case I needed it this weekend. I do have the the little 700 fill throw. It's only, it's got feathers. I'm just shedding everywhere, aren't I? 700 fill also. And these are, it's the same as you get at Costco. 50 by 60. This one's 50 by 60. And I think some of those are 60 by 70. Not sure. But if I need it, I'm going to put it right exactly where I stuffed it this morning. I'm going to put it down in the bottom of the bag and give me a little extra midsection. You know, I'm not really worried about my feet. Got absolutely no problem with temperature on them last night at all. And the same with my shoulders. If I need it, I'm not going to put it in there tonight. I'm not going to start out with it, but I will have it handy. That's my new improvements for the winter. Just got to get out here and use them now. I need to see some of you guys out there using your winter equipment too. And make some improvements on it, you know. Old sleeping bag from 04. And now it's, I'm going to rate it a 30-degree underquilt. My new saw makes it a little bit easier to cut up a quick little pile, especially that cedar. Later on I'll be getting some of the little maples that have had trouble this year and last year. I started working on this little cedar down here. The wind got it this year, well, earlier on this year. So I decided to go ahead and start taking some off of it, and as you can see right there, all of the tops, all the small stuff that I'm taking off and not using right away, kind of made me a cache in what was hanging there. And we've got sweet gum and little ash that'll give it shelter a little bit. And I should have a pretty good little stash of kindling, all smalls. It might be time to take a walk. Let's go for a walk. I don't know if so much this is going to be a walk around or just a wander around. Really got no destination in mind at all. A couple little trees up here I wanted to look at. There's a cedar right in front of me there that's going to have to come down. But not today. Not today. Peaceful up here today. Kind of thought I might run into a critter or two. Those deer surprised me this morning. Oh yeah, about the coyotes last night. I'm kind of walking in the direction that they were howling in last night. Let me show you where I'm going. This is the little cedar thicket area, kind of back to the northwest from camp. More than likely going to come across some deer trail back here too. Poor cedar trees. You kind of see how the leaves all look just a little bit disheveled. Turkeys. And I probably should be kind of quiet because just before I stopped here I heard something right back over there on the ground. In the summertime, you guys came over to the hole with me one time in the summer. You can't hardly get through here when all the little undergrowth gets going. just a tangled up mess. And I'm not sure what that was on the ground, but it left. I guess I'm being too noisy today. I don't think we've ever been over this way. I'm going to head right back off down that way. And just for a reference for you guys, straight ahead over there, I'm going to say better part of a half a mile, is a hole in the ground. When I went on that long walk, it was adjacent to that open field you can kind of see back there. I come up from the hole, which is that way. You can just imagine. This is locust. What little bit of cedar is trying to come up. There's a few small ones. But it's mainly like the rest of these woods are. Tulip poplar. Some yellow poplar in here too. Like that big one right in front there. I believe that to be a yellow poplar. You just can't hardly negotiate this in midsummer. And you're liable to come out of here with 100 ticks on you. Surprised I hadn't had one crawling on me today. This is the first time I've been down in this depression here. I knew it was here. And I was kind of saving it for a walk like this. That one come down recently, didn't it? I would suspect that this depression and the other one, where the hole is, got something to do with each other. I would say I'm probably standing on top of a pretty good sized cave. I don't think it's going to fall in today. Doesn't look like it's gone anywhere in a bunch of years, judging by the size of these trees. I can go on that way a ways, not too far, and up around the top of that ridge over there. I'll save that for another day. Yeah, some fairly old growth. Kind of show you you kind of see the rim. About as deep in it as it gets. I think I'm going to head on back up this way and head over to the other hole in the ground. The woods between the two holes looks pretty much the same. Every once in a while back here there's a hickory scattered in. When I come back here, most of the time, it's from that direction there. Today you can kind of see a little bit of how deep it is. It falls off in a couple of stages like this. I think there might be maybe a logging road down here. I'm not sure if it was or not. I can't get to my zoom buttons on the camera with it on this stick, but right there, that's the hole in the ground. When you're down there in the bottom, you can't see this hole up here. What about that little depression there, Torrin? Survivor Metal Man. You guys go check him out. I don't know how much water stands there. Rain pretty good. There's none in it right now. And I've seen this little spot here is a little cave off spot. To make a nice little camp right there. I probably should have taken the time to come over here the other day when it was still raining to see what was going on over here. You kind of see from here it's gotten a wee bit bigger since the last time I was here. Let me get around the other side. We got a little more root exposed there, and that piece of the dead one there has fallen on down in. I don't know if yeah, it's a little bit bigger. There's some stuff fell off the back wall. I don't think the hole itself's any bigger. And I'm not going down there today. But I think I will take advantage of one of these little sunny spots right around here. Take a break and get a drink of water. What do you think? I guess those deer moved on across. I haven't seen them again. Another couple of little does. Almost don't need the sweatshirt. It's kind of leery. There's actually a jacket in this pack. Kind of leery of coming off without one. This time of year, you know, I mean, it's going to get cool. There's just a couple, 3 more hours. Like it did last night. It dropped 15 degrees, probably an hour and a half. I do like this spot. It's just kind of a long distance to, well, for me to pack in right now. It's a bit quieter back here. You don't get any road noise. Very little, if any. I think I will do a camp over here, probably this winter. But I can tell you one thing. I won't be packing 5 tarps over here. Actually 4. I thought about taking a 10 by 10 and putting it over the top, just for a double layer, trap a little more heat inside. I really didn't need it. As long as the wind's not blowing too bad, that big open space. Well, of course, you're losing heat all the time, obviously, but you can stay warm. This bacon's good. Pardon me while I snack. Wouldn't take much to make a fella take a nap right here. Just a light breeze blowing. Low 50s. One little old doe walking over there. She went over the hill. Now, speaking of over the hill, and not me, I'm going to head on back to camp. You see Rocky there on the side of the tree checking me out. He ain't none too nervous about me being here. Coming back into the back of the cedars. Lots of spots you can camp here, but like I said, to get here through all that brush and bramble, it's kind of hard work for me. Oh, beautiful day for a wander around, ain't it? Thanks for coming along, everybody. Getting fire in the wood stove, not a whole lot of different than it is anywhere else. Excuse me. Tonight, really simple. A couple of napkins, wad them up just a wee bit. A nice tight little ball. So it stays. Set that in there. Yep, just a little bit of this. You guys all know what this is. Just enough to kind of, get everything good and wet. And then we're going to take some of our cedar littles, stack on top of that. Make like the little teepee fire. Oh, that should be enough dry stuff to keep us going. And let's put just a little bit more. Just because we can. And we'll go ahead and light it out here. What do you think? This alcohol is reasonably cold from the day. However, I am not going to have my face down here. I hope it'll go up. Like I said, it's pretty cold, so it's hard to say just how quick. Well, there you go. It won't take but just a second. There we go. It's already back to the napkin. A good flameage going. Let's go ahead and get some more in there. It's probably about 4:30. 4:30, something like that. I brought my thermometer in from outside there, and it was down to 48 already. It went back up to 50 when I brought it in here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Take some of this little split maple that I got up today. Get some of that going. And yeah, let's go ahead and throw a piece of cedar on each side of it. Just for good measure. See if we can get the freight train going again. Afternoon turned to evening. Turned to probably 9 o'clock now. A really good afternoon. Nice walk. Settled in. Just kind of made like I was at the house and had leftovers. I went with the rest of the chicken and dumplings. Good dinner. I ate a little bit later tonight. Let's see if that makes a difference keeping warm all night too. Brother Smoke and Bear Bait came over for a little while and sat with me. She gave me the light we're using for my birthday. Brother Smoke brought me a couple of special pieces. We'll talk about those later. Had a good visit, you know. One of those really good visits off the camera. They left just a little while ago. Got a good bed of coals going there in the little stove. Good enough I can throw the last piece of wood I got in there. Got the door open and it's not smoking. Kind of like the fireplace thing. Get nice and warm in here, because I'm not far from crawling in that there sack. Today and tomorrow both kind of special to me. Yeah, a couple of anniversary things, you know. Being here on this planet for 61 years. That's a bit of an anniversary. Let's close this door up a little bit. It's just a little bit too warm on my leg. And 40 years ago tomorrow morning, I left for basic training. Headed for Great Lakes, Illinois. The next 6 years, for me, were kind of, well, not just a job, but an adventure. Yeah. I got to travel. I got an education in some things that I actually still use. Some of that knowledge just transferred over, you know. We'll have a little toast tonight. A little shot of hot water. Where you can, have a little snort with me. I really don't know what to say sometimes about a lot of things, but the YouTube thing has been good to me. It's been good for me. I have met some really, really interesting people. If you don't think so, go to my subscribe list. See who I watch. Take a look at them. There's some pretty interesting folks out there. It really is. So tonight, here's to all you guys, all the ones that I subscribe to and watch. Sometimes I'm not as good a watcher as I should be, but we all have our little problems, don't we? Cheers, guys. Thanks for all your time and effort in your videos. Not bad on a cool evening. Can't really say that. It's at least 55 degrees in here. I don't know what it is outside. It's supposed to be 32 again in the morning. 32, 34. Who knows? We'll see. I think I'm just going to sit here quiet for a little while and then crawl in the hammock. Looking for another good night's sleep. Last night was real restful. I rested well. I was awake several times during the night. But when I woke up this morning, my back didn't hurt. My shoulders didn't hurt. My neck didn't hurt. Oddly enough, I felt good. Hope it'll be the same thing in the morning. Thanks for coming along on this little 2-day. Hope you like my massive setup here. I'm going to do something a little bit different next time. Thanks, guys. Talk to you in the morning. Hey, good morning, everybody. Ooh-wee. Kind of got a orangish, bluish sky coming on this morning. Pretty quiet. As far as critters go last night, I don't think I had anything come close to camp. I didn't hear anything. The times that I was awake, I didn't hear anything. But I wasn't awake because I got cold. That was not an issue last night at all with the long john bottoms on. Nothing extra on top. And I decided not to go with the wool socks before I got in the rack. I got my socks dry by the stove and my feet nice and warm. Put on a warm pair of socks, warm dry pair of socks. And my feet were good to go all night. Not gonna build a fire this morning. Just gonna cook on the alcohol. Just gonna have some oatmeal, I think. It's just gonna take me a few minutes to get this apparatus down and packed up back in the car. That's okay. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it staying in the big shelter. Oh yeah. Oh, let's see if we get it there. I don't know. Maybe we can get up. If I quit swinging, maybe we can. Yeah, because 28 degrees. Yeah, 28, 29. So the weatherman didn't hit it right again, which is okay because it gave me a little lower temperature test on this gear setup anyway. So now it passes to 28. I'm good. I'm good. Got a real nice couple of days out here just hanging out. Going for a walk yesterday. It's good. Whew. I can't believe I stayed warm with just one sleeping bag on top of me. And it wasn't my zero bag. Now that thing, it's warm at 28 degrees. I'd be crawling out from under that thing. It's just almost too warm for me at times if it's not below 30 degrees. Yeah. So a nice intermediate here. I don't think I'll have an issue when the weather gets a little bit warmer. I'm just going to go to a fleece blanket. And I can't forget, I did just kind of long ways lay this in there last night. A down comforter. No cold hip. Of course, I had the long johns too. That helps with the no cold hip. Let me fix me something to eat. First thing I do is get a drink of water. I got up thirsty this morning. With everything in here about 28, 30 degrees. Yeah, I'm not going to try to throw a spark on the alcohol. Let's just put some fire to it. This biofuel tends to light reasonably well. There it goes. Yeah. It's a good fuel. I like it, So far it has worked well for me, I'll put it that way. Yeah, I'll get set up here. Boil me a little water and have some oatmeal. While it's still nice and cool. You can kind of hear it got a boil going there. It doesn't take too long. I'm not sure about my aluminum top just yet. Don't want to screw it up on the first outing, so I'm going to use my Billy Joe pan for a trivet. Brown sugar maple. A little bit of fire feels pretty good. It's always good stuff. You got 4 deer down there, but they're headed off over towards the corner. Can't really get a decent shot of them. I can still see one little doe. They can't hear me. They wasn't paying no attention to me anyway. I'm a wee bit hungry. I burned off some calories last night, evidently. Yeah. cocoa mix, hot chocolate, whatever you prefer. That tops it off for me. Oh yeah. Morning porridge. That's worked its way all the way up to 35 degrees. Busting out. Nice warm belly. Feels good. I think I'm just going to kind of lounge around till it gets about 40 degrees. Just enjoy the morning. It's definitely not quiet. We got road traffic this morning. Unfortunately, out this way is getting like a lot of other places, you know. Lots of people. Lots of people moving in. Nothing you can do about it, right? Deal with it. Can't help but keep thinking about 40 years ago this morning. By this time I was downtown Detroit, being poked and prodded and asked questions, and I got pretty much everything but asked to sit on the Group W bench. Whew. We were awake, or I was awake. I don't know about the rest of the guys for sure, but before we got to lay our head down at Great Lakes, I'd been up almost 24 hours. Man, what a shock to the system, huh? Have some cat throw you a blanket and a pillow and point you to bed. And about 3 hours later, turn the lights back on and say, "Get up, let's go." That was a shock to the system for sure. But I was kind of ready for it, you know. I'd do it again. There was a lot of parts about it. There was a lot of parts about the whole affair that I didn't really care for. But it's another one of those things, you're there, you really can't do anything about it, so you just have to go along with the program. Make the best of things and do what you were trained to do. That's enough rambling for this morning. When I get up and start breaking stuff down, if any of you guys are interested, I'll do a little breakdown on the stove when I empty it out. I'm just going to move it over to the fire pit and leave the ashes there. There shouldn't be many chunks left in it. I left the dampeners both open last night, and it should have just about burned itself out. It usually does. It's not a real efficient stove. It could be made a lot more efficient, but I haven't done it. You could actually put some small fire brick in there, and it would make a large difference on the holding of heat. And there again, in this situation, you know, I've got the big hole over there, but I was playing one. I'll at some time this winter, I'll do the super shelter setup again, like you guys saw, where I really didn't use the super shelter capability all that much, but it was enough of a test and a good shelter to hang out in. You know, I made it big enough. It was actually this tarp right here, the 12/16. I'll do that setup again and do the full enclosure with vents on the back and the wood stove in the front. And I may have a real tight door set up by the time I get to take that out in the woods. Right now I'm just going to kick back and let it 36 let it warm up a little bit more before I get up and stir around. Still kind of cool out. Just kidding. It's almost 40, but well, you can't really tell. The sun is not shining brightly. We're not supposed to get any rain till tomorrow, but apparently we're going to have some overcast today. We'll go ahead and get started tearing down, I think. Before I get started, I want to say a couple of things about the modifications that I made on this little stove. I put a dampener in the pipe right down at the stove, and I added this exhaust wrap on 2 sections of pipe. A couple of different reasons. It keeps the heat on the outside down, and it keeps the heat on the inside traveling up before it doesn't let the smoke cool off till it gets further up in the stack. That's what creates all the creosote. And I'll show you guys here in a minute what the inside of the pipes look like. Pretty much easy takedown. This is 24-inch roof flashing. Excuse the mess, I've been living there for 2 days. Grill thermometer works really good on the back. Just as a general rule, it's probably not all that accurate, but it works for me. Gives me a reference anyway. Taking the stack off, I do suggest, for one thing, if you do get one of these stoves, do not ever bang these pipes together under any circumstance. You'll play hell getting them apart. Sometimes they're hard enough to get apart as it is. Most of the time it comes off the stove fairly well. Just give them a rock, and when the sections start, when they want to come apart, let them. If you try to force them, it won't work very well at all. Sometimes you have to give them a little bang. Well, this one will show you. I didn't come straight up with it. This is something to deal with in a minute. Now I kind of want to show you, we can get a focus here, I won't get too close. Just this is 2-inch exhaust wrap. There's a little shot inside the pipe. Maybe we can get a focus somehow or other. It's not too bad. I did not clean them out before I started this time. See, when they want to come apart, let them. Generally not too much of an issue. Just drilled a couple of holes in the pipe. That's actually a battery hold down, and the little brass standoff for a battery, spraying out of something, and just a little flap that I think a piece of conduit box, electrical box, but it works. This particular model has a dampener on the back also. I choose to keep it closed all the time and control from up front. It works out better for me. See how the little handles fold up? Let's go over to the fire pit. I don't think I showed this part on the other video. I don't think I showed tearing the stove down at all. Again, some of the models are different. I think that's in frame where you can see it. At this point in time, when I usually get to here, go ahead and take the legs off of it just to get them out of the way. And this one has a little ash slide, and I took a hammer and kind of detented it down so it stays put. It was just loose in there. When the stove is up and in operation, you can reach under and slide that open. I've got a pan that I put into there. You guys have seen the when I have a pan fire, I use that pan a lot of times. I didn't bring it with me this time. because I knew I got the ash pit right here. But while it's still in operation, you can do it even with a fire in it. Just take your rake and rake the ashes out of the little slot. It works really well. I haven't had any issues at all, and generally it does not plug up so bad that you can't get it slid back closed. Like today, it's not going to go. There we go. But when I'm out like this, I spare no quarter generally. You open the door and we turn the stove up on his belly, or up on his face. Give it a few whacks, and then just finish raking it out. These are the legs here the stove come with. Very sturdy. 1/2-inch pipe. I took and I've cut 4 this length, and I've cut 4 this length. It helps leveling up. You're probably not going to always run into a place where it's level. And as you've seen, I use that piece of flashing underneath the stove. Always put something underneath your stove other than your tarp. It's better to set it on the open ground than it is to get it anywhere near your tarp. This tarp is the disposable one, so to speak. When it gets a hole in it, like that one right there, we put duct tape on it and use it again. The different length legs will help you accommodate pretty much any situation you're going to run into. These will fit inside the stove. Generally, I leave these in the bag. They fit quite well. I'll go over the bag here in a minute. Right now, I'm going to try to stuff this all in there and show you how it goes. 2 of the pipes had hangers on them. Got this one off. And they went here on the side. Warming tubes, whatever you want to call them. I was not going to use them for that. You might want to check if you order one of these that all of the pipes are the same diameter. And you can do like I did, go down and see your buddy at your local muffler shop, have him put it on the expander and make them fit. So now instead of 4 sections of pipe, you have 6 sections of pipe that you can go up. Always remember, the higher you go, the more unsturdy your stove is. But supposedly this all fits, right? I've had to go back and do this a couple of times. Last one with your rain cap kind of goes in the middle. If you can get everything else star-shaped around the outside and push back away from it, which it's not going to want to cooperate because I'm recording. Let's see what's wrong here. The legs obviously just go down inside the pipe. After you fool with it for a few minutes, nothing ever goes right all the time, right? Everything does go down in the stove. Just barely, but it goes in the stove. And the only reason mine doesn't is because I've got my spark arrestor on the outside. So if you stay with the factory one, it was too wide a mesh for me. It let too many sparks by. So I put a smaller mesh screen on there. But it goes in. And like I said, the pipes themselves just go down inside the other pipes. And there she is. And yeah, at this point in time, you're dealing with right at 30 pounds. So it's not the easiest thing to manipulate sometimes. And if it's cold like it is this morning, and your fingers are not working right, exactly, it can be a real pain. but it does fit. And it actually goes into the point where you can zip the thing up. The handle itself comes, that one comes across, and then it zips up. I got a couple more things I want to put in there. It's also got this bag on the front, a little pocket on the front, pair of gloves, big heavy duty pot holder in case you've got to grab that pipe when it's hot for some reason or other. And there's usually another piece of that mesh screen in here also. Clamp, just if you need it, same size as the pipe, pair of pliers, and oddly enough, I'll leave an old Harbor Freight ferro rod in here with the magnesium bar, just in case you get out and you want to fire and you forgot to bring one. Everything goes together kind of nicely, but if you're doing a walk-in, better not walk far. I almost forgot the two tools that come with the stove. You got a poker, dragger, and you got a rake for getting in under the bottom. This fits underneath the screen and works quite well for the ash dump in the back. Open it up and just keep pushing them towards the back. These also fit in the stove. Well, I'll put them in the bag today. Before I got everything packed up, I wanted to show you my little table that I got. I've been wanting something lightweight. I looked at the ones that are the Oxford cloth top. Stretches tight over a light aluminum frame, kind of like this. And I came upon these, Amazon, there you go again. G4 free. This is not an advertisement. Not really, just letting you guys know what it is. And I'll let you know how it holds up. You'll be seeing it in camping trips. This one is the small. It is about 15 by 15, give or take, 12 high, give or take. Aluminum, little plastic end caps, kind of nice. The top is held together with bungee, and it just snaps on the lower frame. Fairly easy enough. I said easy enough, huh? And you take this and do the accordion fold on it. And if you do it right, well, I done it backwards, didn't I? If you do it right, shock cords hold the table together. And they're actually stretchy enough that you could put the table and the frame together with these. Top itself, you know, says 30 pounds. I'm not going to test it for 30 pounds. I don't think I'll ever do that. But it seems substantial enough. It's not all wobbly or falling apart. The end pieces, top pieces come in the top like this and latch in. And of course this is pretty much like all the rest of these. You just kind of accordion fold it up. These fold to the outside. It's a half mesh, half ripstop bag. I don't know. It'll probably last all right. It's got two little compartments in it. I take that, it's for keeping the dirt that you get on the foot of your table and stuff. Keep that away from your tabletop itself. It all fits quite nicely. I don't know, I'm going to give it a test. We'll see how it holds up. 1 pound, 3 ounces. 17 inches. under quilt, top quilt, 5 pounds. Granny Gear stuff set. Got everything rolled and stowed, except for one tarp, the ground tarp. I'm going to leave it for last. As you guys know, you spread a ground sheet out, it's going to be wet. So it's just about dry. Everything else is back in the bag. Oh, now the job begins. I got to get it out of here back to the car. 3 trips if I planned it right. Yeah, I'll be about wore out. Be ready for a nap time I get to the house, huh? Well, I'm not going to tarry too long. Appreciate you guys coming along, spending my 61st birthday with me. I had a really good time out here in the woods. Really peaceful. The walk yesterday was really nice. Seeing a few critters. I almost expected to see turkey. Thought I heard some last night, or yesterday evening. Once again, thanks everybody. Appreciate you joining me here. Appreciate you coming along and watching my videos. And I have to say that more than likely, none of this would be able to be happening right now if it wasn't for Donna. Thank you, dear. Love you. She stands by me no matter what. That's hard to find, folks. It's hard to find. But she lets me come out here and hang out. I love it. Well, folks, I'll see you later. Till next time, just waiting for the next big adventure.